Hello everyone. So today we are going to start from the rest part of the chapters, and the chapter name is the cricket, and we are going to start from the rest part. So let's begin. The players. So game is played between two teams made up of 11 players each. There is also a reverse player called the 12th man who is used should a player be injured during play. The 12th man is not allowed to ball, bat, wicket, keep or captain the team. His sole duty is to act as a substitute fielder. The original player is free to return to the game as soon as they have recovered from their injury. The maximum of 4 substitutes are allowed in a match. So basically cricket team consists of 15 players, of which 11 players are playing teams and the rest 4 are the substitutes. So if we are go for the players, we will come to know that the game is played between two teams and only 11 players from each team is allowed. But except the 11 players, there has been 4 more players already been taken, and they were just keep as a substitute for those players. If any player will get injured or will happen to anything, so at that time those player will take the place of that player. So thereafter our next topic is the types of matches. Okay, so in the types of matches we are going to learn about the different types of matches. So first of all, the first type of match is first class cricket, means test match. So this is the most prestigious game played by the professional level and played between the countries. So these are domestic first, but after some time they will become the from domestic to the like foreign. Okay, so first class match are of limited duration. Test matches are never played under artificial lightning. Test matches are scheduled over up to 5 days with 6-hour play each day, and each day play is divided into 3 sessions of 2 hours each, which have 40 minutes break between first 2 sessions for lunch and a 20-minute tea break between the last 2 sessions. A short drink break is taken once an hour or more often if hot weather. Play usually goes from 11 local time to 18. Although this may be varied if sunset occurs early, the scheduled close of play time is called stumps. So in the test match we can say that the test match is almost scheduled for 5 days, and in each day the player should have to play for 6 hours daily, and between those 6 hours those 6 hours has been divided into 3 sessions, means 2 hour each. Thereafter every 2 hours they will get a break for 40 minutes, and thereafter the last 2 sessions they will get a break for 20 minutes only, and the local time when the game will start should be 11 to 18. Okay, and thereafter we'll go for the declaration. It is done when the captain of a side declare an inning close if he feels he will win. Mostly declares when their score is above 500, means there has been a declaration procedure is also available, and the team will only declare themselves when their score is above 500. Basically it is not mostly, you can declare at any time if you feel like yes I can win with these runs. Okay, thereafter we'll go for the follow-ons. It means the team who bat first let A scored 500 run in the first inning, and the opposite team lets B bat with does not achieve target either 300 or above all, and the team out. So team A will impose the follow-on and team B will immediately bat second inning because not close enough to score and lead the arm A, and then team A will play for the lead. Okay, so there has been also a rule that if the two teams are playing, if one team has scored 500 runs in the first inning and in the second team is coming to play and they all became out in between the 300 run or so, so thereafter the game will start again, and the first team will start to bat, and thereafter the team which start to bat, if they will score any kind of runs, so that run will said to be the leading run. They will going to lead the team. Okay, and thereafter team B will have to chase those runs also. Okay, when the all innings are completed, the team with the most run wins. If there is a tie, means if the both the teams will make the same run, then the tie means no win no loss. Okay, If by the end of the final days playing all innings are not completed, the game is a draw, no matter who appear to be winning. Thus, the strategic importance of sometimes declaring an inning closed in order to have enough time. Then we can see the 4-day test match. Okay, so in the 4-day test match we can see that the International Cricket Council granted its permission, allowing South America and Zimbabwe to play the first ever 4-day test match in Port Elizabeth, December 26, 2017. That means there has been a 4-day test match which is mainly invented by South Africa and Zimbabwe to play first ever, and they played it in the Port Elizabethan on December 26, 2017. So must remember the date. They may ask you in the, I mean in the boards and all. Okay, so it is the first test match since 1972 to 73 to be scheduled for 4 days. Until then, time periods of team test matches was varying. It was in the range of 3 to 6 days, and on a number of occasions it was timeless, played over an unlimited number of days until the result was achieved. So in this test match it is scheduled for 4 days, but the rules was like the test match in the time can be vary, means it can be vary from 3 to 6 days also, until the player should, I mean just completed the runs and they will become all out. Okay, so in the 4-day test match there are various variation from standard test playing conditions. So let's say talk about the conditions. So there are some conditions. The conditions are: time period for 4-day test match will be scheduled for 6.5 hours each day, that is half an hour more than in 5-day test match. Okay, so in the 4-day test match the time period can be increased also. Okay, and thereafter the number of overs should be 98 over instead of 90 overs, as the extra half hour set should be added. Thereafter duration between the two session will be 2 hours and 15 minutes each instead of 2 hours, and there has been a 20-minute break instead of a lunch break, and after the first session, and a 40-minute dinner break after the second session. So there are some conditions which you have to learn about, otherwise you may be not be able to answer it in the questions from the boards. Then we can see about the one-day cricket. So one-day cricket differs significantly from first-class cricket. A one-day match is played on a single day. Either a red or a white cricket ball may be used, and play under artificial lighting is allowed. Okay, so one-day cricket match, we can say that one-day cricket is different from the first-class cricket and other types which we had learned till now. Okay, as the one-day match is a different and it has to be completed in a single day, and it should be either a red or a white cricket ball may be used, and it can also played under the artificial lightning also. And here in the one day cricket, each team gets only one inning, and that inning is restricted to the maximum number of overs. Okay, and the maximum number of overs should be 50 overs, and each inning is completed at the end of the stipulated number of overs, no matter how many batsmen are out. If 10 batsmen are out before the full number of overs are bowled, the inning is over. If the first team's inning end in this matter, the second team will still have its full number of overs to score the required run. The timing of the innings and the break between them are not regulated. Whichever team score the most run win. A tied score stands. There is no draw result. Okay, if the match is washed out so that the innings are not played, the game is declared as no result. Okay, so as we can see that the one day cricket is basically different from the above cricket types. Okay, so in the one day cricket we can say that there has been only 50 numbers of overs are there, and it doesn't matter that batsmen are out or not. If the 50 overs are completed, means the game is over for that inning. Okay, and thereafter the second inning should be start. Okay, and thereafter there is no tie here in the one day cricket. There has been also a tie score also stands. Okay, so that there has to be some results, either win or loss. Okay, and if the game is like due to rain, due to heavy rain, or due to storm, or due to anything, if it is not been completed, then the game is declared as a no result also. And in this one day cricket, okay, so white balls are enforced much more strictly in one day cricket. Means if the player must be just giving the white balls, so what happened, it will just take the time also. So that's why it is strictly not enforced. And one day competitions are played between the nation and international. A world cup one day competition is played between all the test nation after every 4 years. Okay. And there has been also a new thing which is introduced, that is the power play. Power play is a feature introduced in one day international cricket in 1991. In a power play, restrictions are applied on the fielding teams. Only 2 to 3 players are allowed outside the 30-yard circle, and there are 2 players play in an ODI cricket inning start from October 30 to 12 30 October 30 2012. Okay, so in the power play we can see that only the 2 to 3 players are allowed to go outside the 30 yards. Later it has been changed to only 2 players are allowed to go outside the 30-yard circle, and up to the what, up to there has been a several number of overs. Okay, so let's talk about the most and recent thing, that is the T20. So there has been a rule for the T20 that each side bats for 20 years and a match lasts 3 hours with 20 minutes break between the innings. The incoming batsman get only 90 seconds to face the next ball. Team sits in dugouts near the boundary instead of a pavilion when the match is in progress. In the first 6 overs, only 2 fielders can be placed outside a 30-yard circle. Okay, and for the remaining 40 overs, no, not more than 5 fielders will be outside the circle. So there has been a basic rule for the T20 also, that each side will bat for only 20 overs instead of 50 overs, and thereafter match lasts for only 3 hours with 20 minutes break between them, and the incoming batsman get only 90 seconds to face the next ball. Means there has to place the next ball in between the 90 seconds, not to take more time, so that the game will just end in 3 hours. Thereafter, the teams can sit in the dugouts also near the boundary inside instead of pavilions. Means the team or the batsman, the player, the batting player who can just sit in the pavilion instead of there, they can sit in the dugout so that they can just take the chance earlier. Okay, in the first 6 overs, there has to be only 2 fielders are allowed for 30-yard circle, and thereafter the 14 remaining 14 overs, there has been 5 fielders are allowed to be outside the circle also. And the most interesting thing that is been happening is the IPL. There will be a requirement of at least 16 players on every IPL team. Each squad need one creative, a trainer, and 2 character who belong to BCCI under 22 groups. In a squad, at least 8 hometown players and maximum 4 international players are allowed. And the amount of international player in a squad is unable to surpass 10. So through this we can just come to know that the IPL basically needs 16 types 16 different players and every IPL team, and thereafter they also need a trainer and the 2 character who belongs from the BCCI also, and there has been 8 hometowns player and maximum 4 international players are allowed. And it is also stated that minimum 7 bowlers would be there for entire 20 over match, and of these 7 6 would be bowling for 3 overs each, and the last would bowl in the rest 2 overs. Okay, so these are the basic criteria for the players. Thereafter we can go for the innovations. So there has been some basic innovations over here. The first innovation is free hit after no ball. Means the next delivery will be free hit for the facing batsman. He cannot be dismissed of the free hit except being run out. No change in the field placement is allowed for the free hit. Means there has been a free hit which has been introduced in the match, and that is given after a no ball. If the player will give a no ball, so thereafter the batsman get a free hit, and on that free hit that batsman should be only run out, except that if the batsman just get the ball to the boundary and if anyone can catch it, thereafter also he should not be called as out. Okay, and there has been no change of fielding placement is also allowed. So thereafter the ball out. cricket version of the penalty shot should be applied if the semi-finals or finals are tied. Each team will nominate 5 bowlers who will turn to hit the wickets at the other end. There will be no batsman facing. The team will achieve the maximum strikes win the match. Means thereafter, if the just think that the match has been drawn, okay, or it's been tied between two teams, so what's happened next? So the next thing which the players must do, that they will just put 5 bowlers from each team, and thereafter they will try to hit the wickets from the other end, and those player who just get to hit more wickets will get the match win. Okay, so today I'm going to end the class up to this. Thereafter, in the next class, we are going to learn about the officials of the cricket match. Okay, thank you.